Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video I'll be unboxing Blood and Steel, the starter set for the new Achtung Panzer by Warlord Games. If you're wondering what that translates to in English, it just means attention tanks, and a good fitting name because this is all about tanks, and in this box the British tanks will encounter German panzers in a fierce firefight. And you can see from the size of this box, this is a chunky one, 14 centimeters high this, and it's packed with loads of awesome sprues. So in the video I'll get it all out, we'll have a close-up look at all the contents, flick through the rulebook, have a look at all the cards, tokens, components, and a close-up look at those awesome sprues as well. Massive thank you to Warlord Games for sending this out for me to share with you. And it's not a sponsored video, but I didn't buy it. They did send it to me as a review copy. It's 1/56 scale and the same models that you'll find in the Bolt Action game. So it's great, you can use them for that as well. On the back of the box you can see here everything that's included. Lots of tanks. You're going to get cards, tokens, the books, everything you need, and here it is laid out on the back as well. They don't show the actual tanks built here, but rather they're featured in this bigger image here. They are pretty well camouflaged though, but there are 5 tanks there, 3 for the British and 2 for the German. So let's get this open then and we'll have a good look at all the contents. This has got some of my favourite tanks in there. I love the Firefly and I just love the Sherman 5's medium tanks as well. And so you're going to get 2 Sherman 5's, the Sherman Firefly, and then you're going to get the 2 German Panther Aus. Alright, let's pop the lid off, we'll have a good look inside. There's some great terrain in here as well. I was very impressed with that once it was all out. But here we are. First up, we're welcomed by the rulebook. And this looks a decent size, good chunky book. So this isn't Bolt Action rules, this is an entirely new game on its own, but it does play alongside Bolt Action, certainly with all the miniatures and everything. There's the Blood and Steel intro book, nice reference sheet, they're very good how they put those together. And then look at this lot, tons of sprues, we've got some cards and tokens that we'll have a look at as well. But it's always cool to have a big box full of sprues ready to build, and certainly when they're really excellent tanks like this. Here we've got some starter stowage sets there, and then this one is another starter stowage. There's a bike in here as well, which we'll see later on, which is pretty awesome. Some dice. These are the damage markers. These are brilliant if you haven't seen them before. I'll show you how they work later on. Nice pack of tokens here as well. And then we've got some cards. These are going to be your tank cards with all the stats and everything that you need. And then look at this. Tons of sprues. It's packed. We're going to get 5 different tanks all together, and then we're going to get the terrain as well. So there we go. There's one. That one looks like it could be the Firefly. Then we've got the other 2 Shermans. Then we've got the 2 Panthers, and then right at the bottom you've got these 4 sprues for the terrain. And I was very impressed with these. I thought these would be a lot thinner and smaller, but they're pretty chunky. They're going to look great on the table. And then we've got this box here. Let's have a close-up look at that so we can check out the sides of the boxes that Warlord Games do. Actually pretty good. It's got the painting guide on there. It's got different tanks, different ways you might want to put them together. So I always like checking out what they put there. And so it gives you some other games sometimes as well. But here, we're focusing on tanks. So there it is. That's everything that is included in the box. A real chunky starter set this. Everything you need to play the game, from measuring rulers, dice, tokens, terrain, everything's there. So let's start working our way through it. I think we'll start with the sprues, have a close-up look at the components so you can see the quality and detail, and then we'll look at the books and cards and everything else. Here we are, we'll begin with the terrain. And I love this, a nice ruined farmhouse building. That's exactly what you need for this kind of game, for the tanks. It looks damaged already. It's certainly taken some fire through those walls, but real chunky, nice textures going on. Now there's no instructions included to build this, so what I am going to do is do another video just showing you how to put this together, just to make it nice and easy, straightforward, because I want to build it first before I build any tanks. So I'll do a video for that, and I'll build a tank as well in that other video, and then you can have a look at it next to each other to get a good idea of the size comparison. But real nice rubble, you've got all the stone effects, you've got the roof there blown apart, no tiles on the roof, and then you've got one of the floors as well with some of the floorboards. But these little corner pieces are cool, little rubble bits that all add to the effect. So I think this is the sort of terrain that's going to be quick and easy to build and paint too. Now on to the two German tanks, the Panther Ausfs, and there's going to be two identical tanks here. So we're only going to have a look at one of these sprue sets, and each one is going to come in the plastic bag. So we're going to get that off, get that out of the way. A lot of plastic packaging here. Could have done without that maybe, but there we go. It's going to keep it all together, and we know exactly what belongs to what. So here we go. We've got the first one. We've got two sprues, everything we need to build the tank. So looking at the components here, this is going to be a pretty quick one to put together, I reckon. And here's the detailing. Very nice. Those tracks look excellent as well. So that's the chassis. Brilliant. There's the underside if you want to have a look at the other side of it. And look at this, we've got some more round sprue, which is perfect for building some more fences. And I think I need some more now for the World War II games I've got lined up. So yeah, that's going to come in really handy. Always nice to get some round sprues. And then here's the second part. This is going to give us the turret and the main gun there as well. Brilliant. Looking good. Some of the tracks in there too. There we go. Nice detailing. I always like the plastic tanks the best from Warlord games. I think the details are really nice and they're very easy to build. The quality's great. Details are just what you expect. Easy to trim up and it doesn't take long at all to put them together. There we've got one of the tank commanders as well. If you want to have him popping out of the turret, you've got that option too. Next, we've got the Sherman tanks. I think these are awesome. Really fantastic. There's 3 tanks altogether. 2 are Sherman 5s and 1 is the Sherman Firefly, which is just fantastic. But let's get this one out first. This is the Sherman 5. There's 2 of these, and so you're going to get the 2 sets of 3 sprues that are identical. Again, really nice detailing. Different style of tracks completely. There we go. You can see the side part there. Looking great. Very crisp. Very neat. Really happy with this. So that's going to be the first one. There's the other side if you want to check that out. And then here you've got some of the track guards on there. I'll probably put those on the Firefly rather than the Shermans. You've got 2 tank commanders. You've got the turret mounted machine gun there. You've got some other sections too. So some of these components are obviously going to be specific to the Firefly as well and the Sherman. They're going to look slightly different, but otherwise the sprues are very much the same for both of the tanks with some slight differences that I'll show you later on. But here's the main part, that iconic turret, looking great. Alright, so we've seen those. Let's have a look at the other one now. And this is the Firefly. Very similar. There's not going to be much to note here. On the actual top of the tank, you can see they've got some tools on the top of it at the back. But otherwise, there's not much that you can see that really stands out. If I compare it there, you can see you've got those... Oh, no, it's not a pair of tools. It looks like a tripod for a weapon, perhaps. So there we go. A little bit different. But otherwise, the other parts there are the same. The main weapon is a lot longer for the Firefly. There it is at the top left. Nice. And we're going to add some other parts to the rear of that turret. And that just makes it stand out a little bit longer there. So that's going to make it look different to the others. Here we've got the tracks, so they're identical, so there's no differences there at all. So I'll put them together so you can see, there we are. And the bottom of the chassis, that's the same as well. So that's no different. We've seen this one already. Not going to linger on that too much. And then we've got this one here, which again I think is identical. You've got the track guards if you want to use them. I'm going to use them for the Firefly. You've got your commanders, so that's the same as well. That's the main models. Now let's have a look at the dice. These are 10mm. You're going to get 6 all together, so you don't need many more than that. That's great. And then you've got these 3 sets of damage tokens. I really like these. They come in a lot of the sets. I think most of the vehicles get them. Certainly the tanks do if you buy them individually for bolt action. And if I can get it open, we can have a really good look. But you get 3 bases. These are MDF bases and they're going to be 25mm. And then what you get is 3 different types of what feels like a kind of cotton wool. And this is going to be the smoke, you've got the flames, and you've got the black smoke as well. So you'll be using those to denote different states of damage on your vehicles. Really great. 3 sets, 9 altogether. Then we got this starter stowage and a bicycle. Wait till you see this bike. It's so cool. I think it might be, apart from the terrain, one of my favourite parts of this set. It's really good. There it is. Look at that. Look how crisp it is. Very neat. That's awesome. So that's just going to look great on some dioramas if we're playing in like a little village or something, or even in somewhere like Paris and you're setting up a little street scene. That's going to look awesome. Then you've got some starter stowage sets there. There we go. All metal these now, so you're going to have to attach those with super glue. All right, now we're on to cards and tokens. Let's open this pack first. Here we go. Always like to see how they do the cards, and certainly wasn't disappointed with these. Printed is nice, they feel really good. And then to give you an idea of the size, these are the regular size cards, what, 56 by 88 mil, I believe. So what, poker size, I think they are. And then really nice. These are all your event cards, so you're going to get a bunch of those. And then we'll flip over and have a look at the other side. But that looks good, got the logo on there, really nice, looking good. Then on the other side, you've got the reinforcements here. This is one event. So you've got different types of event. So you've got lots of reinforcements. Then you've got haze. And you're going to have some all different ones. Extra reinforcements. What else we got? Fog of war. So these are going to, I guess they're going to be shuffled. I haven't looked at the rules yet. That's something to do later on. Here really is just to show off everything that's included. So you can decide whether or not this is something you'd like to add to your collection. Okay, now we're on to British Tank Force Asset Card Deck. So in the game, you've got tank crews, and that's going to play into it. And so you're going to have some assets that you can use. And these are the British ones. Nice design, really iconic of that kind of World War II style. And then what have you got here? Mortar, Royal Engineers, Sniper, Infantry, Tank Hunters, Airstrike, all sorts. So there we go. They're unique to the Brits. And not to be left out, the Germans will also get a pack. This is put together by Stu, the German Tank Force Asset Card Deck. And here we are. So nicely printed up again. And then on the back, you're going to get some here that are specific to Germans, but some are the same, like Sniper. And then you've got Tank Hunters, anti-tank guns, all sorts going on there. Very nice. Then we've got our Tank Ace data cards and skill cards. And then we'll also get some decals in here as well. Let's have a look at those. All ready to go. Nice. And then on the back, we've got our Ace skill cards. You're going to get, what, 4 of those? And then they're going to give you some different skills that your aces could use, obviously. There we are, 4 of those little cards. Nice. And now we're on to the data cards. And this is good. You get some narrative on the back there. And as we flip it over, you can see that you've got the actual tank with all the stats and everything going on there, and it looks like there's lots to look at when we go through the rules. And as you'll see when we do look at the rule book later on in this video, it's certainly not a small game. If you want to get an in-depth tank game, this could be the one for you. Certainly lots to get stuck into. And here are all the other tanks. You can see you've got the different versions as well. There we go. Look good though. They look nice. You've got your crew on the left, you've got your tank, and then all the other details you'll need. And then here we're on to the Sherman. Flip it round, you've got the Firefly on the back too. I think when you first see these things for games, it looks quite a lot, but when you really study it, it's actually a lot of the things you're not going to use all the time, like the points, for example. Once you've done it once, you're not going to keep looking at that during the game, but nice to have everything in one place when you play. Then we've got the punchboard sub-assembly here with our tokens. You've got a little tracker here, so you'll pop those little black bits off, and then they'll slide along the tracker. You've got your phases as well, 1, 2, and 3, and a nice set of tokens. All looking good, aren't they? Nice and crisp. Yeah, danger, ambush, and then cleared on the back. And you've got the letters as well. And the numbered tiles. And then you've got these ones as well with all sorts of specific things that are going on. Looks like you've got your different types of shells. That's fun. So that's going to be really good. Smoke special, HE, AP, really nice. I like how they've done that. That's going to be awesome to see how the rules work. And then some of the other little tokens too. Then there's the quick reference sheet. These are always done well by Bolt Action and Warlord Games. You get rulers included, and then this nice cardboard sheet. And this should be what you really need for the game. And it looks like it's all nicely laid out on one page, which is fantastic. Not too dense, and I think it's going to be easy to find exactly what you need for this. And they do a really good job with this with Bolt Action. Now we're on to the rulebook. So what I'm going to do is just flick through the whole thing. This is the back. So this is nice where you can see those components in the 2 blister packs all painted up. I really like that bike. That was so good. I'd like to just get a pack of those actually. But there we are. Now let's get started. We've got a little intro to the game. Nice scene. And what you find if you're new to Bolt Action or Warlord Games is their books are really well laid out. They have a nice selection of model photos and illustrations, but this particular pamphlet is to just give you the instructions to build the models and a quick introduction to the game narratively wise. So that's Blood and Steel. This is the main rulebook. This is the big chunky one. There's a lot to look through here, so I'm not going to go deep in this. This isn't a review of the book. It's just to give you an overview so you can have a look and know what to expect. But really great quality. I love their books, so I'm a bit biased because I just think they're fantastic all round. So I've always got my hopes up when I get any of these sets, and on the back it tells you exactly what's in there. Nice action illustration at the front, and I'm not right on the front page. Let's go here. Here we go. So we're starting off there, illustration, a nice angle of the tanks, and then they always credit everyone involved in the project by name, which is brilliant. I love that. So we want to see that from more companies, especially the big ones. It's really good to credit everybody involved. And then here we've got the contents, so you can see everything that's going on. The game overview, which will just explain what the game's all about. Basically, you're taking command of a platoon of armoured vehicles on the battlefields of World War II. And this is a great setup for a table. How fun would that be to play on? It shows you all the tanks that are included, fully painted up, which is really nice as well. And then here we go, some really good photos and examples. I love seeing their tables and setups. They've got so many years of experience behind them. They must have some awesome models and setups that they can use for these photos. But looking through is quite a packed rulebook. There's going to be a lot to read through here and get stuck into. So if you're looking for an in-depth game, I think this could be a good option for sure. It's described as close quarter engagements between opposing armoured vehicles. So the battles are close and deadly firefights. It almost feels like it's a skirmish game for tanks. So that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from everything I've gone through so far. Be great to give it a go and get sat down with these rules and really have a go at it. And I really like the idea that you're exploiting the strengths and weaknesses, not just of your own tank, but of the enemy too, but also your crews. And as it says on the back of the box, you can plan their movement carefully and use the terrain to your advantage. And that's really great how in campaign mode as well, you're going to be able to develop those crews and aspects of the tank as well. There's lots of missions included, as you can see here, so you're going to have loads of options to play, and I'm sure it'll be pretty straightforward to come up with some of your own missions as well. Here's the campaign section. Pretty wordy, this. So yeah, that's a lot going on with your crew advancement and everything. Then you've got tank aces, and then you've got your platoon roster, some blank tank character sheets, and then all the cards that we've gone through, the physical cards, they've actually got them printed in the book as well, which I think is a really good idea. If you lose one, you can always have another copy. It's like all the tokens laid out too, all the stats for different tanks as well, all the data there. So a lot of information. If you're a tank fan and you want to have some close combat battles, this is going to be really fun, and I think this is going to be one of those games you can really get stuck into. That's everything that's included in the box set then. A really good set here. I certainly enjoyed getting all this out and having a close-up look at it, and look out for that next video where I'll build some terrain. I'll get a tank built as well so you can have a look at it, because I think it's going to be really nice to see it put together. And also, there's no instructions for the terrain. There's plenty of instructions for the tanks, everything you need, but I couldn't see anything for putting the terrain together. I mean, it's not difficult. You could figure it out, but I'll do a video anyway. I'll put a link down below to Warlord Games, so if you want to go and check out their website, you can find out more about the game, and also the expansions. They do other armies as well. It's not just the British against the Germans, so you'll have other options too. All round a great set. I think you'll have fun putting this one together, and thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you found it helpful, and now you can decide whether or not this is something you'd like to add to the collection. If you did like the video, it'd be great if you hit the like button, subscribe to keep up to date with all the news, and I look forward to seeing you here again next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.